Can you introduce yourself?
So I am Chef Heidi Marsh. I've been a chef for over 25 years, and I'm well known in the esports community for the personal chef to the Philadelphia Fusion for 2 seasons, Overwatch League 1 and 2.
What is your educational background?
I have a couple of associate degrees. One is in liberal arts, and then I have one in applied science with specialty in education. And then I have a K through 8 education degree that's in math and the sciences, a strong focus in nutrition and biological sciences. I'm a certified food manager. That's just kind of a given with the territory. And then I'm studying to get my certification for executive chef through the American Chef Association right now.
How are the nutritional needs of an esports athlete any different from the average person?
Esports, each player can be unique, speaking from experience with the Fusion. So you have a bunch of different guys. I had like 30 players in the first season, right? They all have different activity levels. They all have different fitness goals, but generally they live a pretty sedentary lifestyle because they're sitting for long hours, right? And they're mentally focused on the screen, or they're in coaching labs, things like that. So it can be different, say, from someone who's always on their feet like myself, right? Where I'm spending 10 to 12 hours a day on my feet, highly active, versus someone who's sitting for long periods of time and, maybe they go lift weights, right? Or maybe they go for a run. But again, each player is unique. So the nutritional needs is going to be unique to each individual player as well.
Do you have any recommendations regarding the protein, carbohydrate, and the fat intake for esports players?
For esports players specifically, because of the sedentary lifestyle and the sitting for so long, and if they're not working out, like definitely low fat diet, low sugars. So just like well-balanced eating with limited sugars, limited fats, especially unsaturated fats, and don't overdo it.
How would that change on days where they are possibly working out?
I had guys that would do double, triple proteins, so they can increase muscle mass. They would lay off a lot of carbs and they wouldn't eat, fats and sugars, and they'd stay out of the snack room pretty much altogether and go for the apples and bananas and oranges and things like that I put around the kitchen.
Do you have any recommendations in the daily caloric intake for esports players, and what would be the process in evaluating that?
So again, it's going to be unique to each player, but moderation is the key, right? Having 3 balanced meals and choosing wisely your snacks. I think that's the best thing I can say. Know what your caloric intake is. Maybe keep a food record, and you can kind of start to see it.
How important is hydration to an esports athlete?
Hydration is extremely important. I mean, we are living water organisms, right? Your brain will stay more alert. You're more focused. You have balanced mood, better performance, memory function. You might tend to get like headaches from looking at a screen all day. This can relieve that, staying well hydrated. We had in the Fusion House a big water cooler, and those guys would visit it frequently, and you could see the soda intake go down and the water go up. So that was a good thing.
How would you compare esports nutrition to traditional sports nutrition?
I think they're very highly correlated. I really do, especially if you consider esports players who do like to work out. I mean, they say like the average athlete needs, more calories, more protein in their diet, more carbohydrates in their diet. But I think, again, going back to the balanced meals, if you have a balanced meal, and then in addition to, if you are working out and exercising, you need to add on the proteins and the carbohydrates to fuel your body, because you're burning all this energy when you're exercising. But if you're not working out, you're kind of on the mainstream of everybody else, the average American consumes way too much sugar, right, and fat and protein, where if you dial all that back and you just kind of hit your caloric mark, making sure that you get, micronutrients, amino acids, like all the stuff to fuel your brain power, right?
What is the biggest challenge within the esports nutrition field?
I think aside from the sedentary lifestyle, I think having a regular routine of diet and exercise. And that can include like travel, time zones, like when are you sleeping? What are those patterns looking like? Maybe you're up all night and then you sleep till noon, 2:00, and you roll out and you just grab the nearest thing to eat, and then you're sitting at your desk just munching away. So trying to establish a regular routine of meals, of healthy meals, and a regular routine of sleep.
What benefits does a nutrition expert bring to an esports team or an athlete?
creating a healthy guideline for the meals and the eating patterns. This is the first time someone maybe has referred to me as a nutrition expert. I guess as a chef, we kind of have to know like what's in our food and what we're serving. A lot of chefs don't, but I've kind of specialized in different diets all throughout my career. And so lucky for the fusion, I was able to jump in as a nutrition expert, but more a private chef and, say, hey guys, what are you looking for? And these guys, most of them wanted healthy meals and stuff. So they got the benefits of regularly scheduled meals. And these meals were like healthy, well-rounded, and multicultural, cross-cultural too. So appealing.
What performance benefits come with proper nutrition?
So many. I mean, endurance for one. If you're not properly sustained, like maybe you're just eating a bunch of, Chick-fil-A and McDonald's and like high calorie, high fat foods, you're going to hit that crash. Where you're having more balanced nutrition, you're going to have endurance, improved memory, mood stabilization. Mood is important because how you feel day to day kind of affects how you play day to day and how you are as a teammate also. I think your overall health and wellness too, aside from gaming, like you're going to live a long and healthy life the better that you eat and the more frequently you exercise.
How do you balance cooking for an entire team with the individual requirements that each player has?
Yeah, it's tricky. I mean, as a chef, personal chef, like you really want to get to know your clients. And in the beginning, it was very general. It was like, all right, we like Korean food, we like pasta, we want healthy meals, we want meal preps. We had 2 rosters for the first season, and there was a lot of people that liked a lot of different things. So having a menu that was rotational and that we posted was helpful. And like, all right, this night's fish night, this night's pasta night, this night's Korean night. We're always going to do subs. We're going to throw some indulgence in there. We're going to do some comfort foods, but we're also going to do some very just healthy, basic things. So having a large variety of offerings and then knowing like what they absolutely hate, right? Oh, we're never cooking with cilantro, things like that. Just totally don't do it. These guys they don't want to tell you they don't like something. So posting a menu and letting them write on it, smiley face, not smiley face, was pretty helpful too.
Is there any procedure to deal with allergies?
Yeah, so if there, like, say, if there was an allergy in the house, like, I just wouldn't cook with it. If there was a shellfish allergy or somebody was highly allergic to something, I just wouldn't, just like the cilantro, it would be banned from the house. In the kitchen world, it's a little bit different because you have a lot more space and you have different refrigerators and things like that, but we're in such close quarters in a team house that you just don't want to risk it. You don't want to risk cross-contaminating someone that could be like deathly allergic to peanut.
Do you have any recommendations for supplements for esports athletes?
If you're eating a healthy, balanced meal, you really don't need to supplement your diet. But like I take a daily vitamin, which I think is adequate. The guys also took a daily vitamin. There's other stuff on the market that I kind of looked into when I saw this question. And I think really if you're eating a well-balanced meal, you shouldn't have to supplement your diet too much.
Do you have any opinions on caffeine intake for an esport athlete?
I've seen the effects that the caffeine vaping has had on people. And I've seen a team that's gone from like high caffeine intake to very low, moderate caffeine intake. And I can see the improvements in not just the mood and attitudes, but also in their performance and their stamina and their endurance, right? And sleep patterns. So I would say just like everything, moderation really is the key, and to maybe stay away from it, 5 hours before you're going to know that you're going to go to sleep so you can get a good night's sleep.
Can you go over a daily nutrition schedule, like just for a typical esport athlete?
Just from my experience with the team, these guys were sleeping. So it's not like you have to put a time clock on something. But when you get up in the morning, start with something good. Start with some juice. Start with balanced breakfast with whole grains, like some whole grain toast, maybe a couple of eggs, some fruit. You don't have to really overdo it on a breakfast. Everybody always says, like, have a big breakfast. Your body's still waking up. You spent the night healing and regenerating already. So when you wake up, you just kind of need a little bit of a charge. Have a nice light breakfast in the morning. Somewhere in the middle there, maybe have some fruit or low-fat energy bar, something like that. And then lunch, these guys did a lot of fun stuff for lunch. We did chicken tacos, we did subs, we did breakfast bowls. And if you see my blog, it's Chef Heidi Eats Her Words. I did a lot of different bowls with these guys, and those are really fun because you can do a couple of different grains, some greens, avocados, so you get the healthy fats. You don't necessarily have to put a protein if you're doing like beans and rice, things like that. But the bowls are really fun and flexible, and you can do them across all cultures. And then in between lunch and dinner, maybe another light snack. It could be a Cheez-It or something. It doesn't have to be another piece of fruit. I know that these guys, they kind of stress eat when they're playing. They need something to chew on. I worked with a company recently that was doing some dark chocolate treats and things like that. And then for dinner, like, again, another well-balanced, have a protein, have a vegetable, have a starch, just kind of round out your plate. Some of these guys could be vegetarian. I don't know. Like, just go for the greens, the leafy greens, the most bright colored vegetables. Don't overcook them. And then, of course, a couple hours go by and it's getting into the night. I always opt for some ice cream or something, like, again, don't deprive yourself of the things that you crave, because you're going to end up kind of crashing and overdoing it. Yeah, that's kind of a daily, what I would say.
Do you think you can work in esports nutrition full time right now?
I would love it. If somebody asked me to do that, I would love to do that. I love being a chef, and I love being a teacher, and I love food, and I love the relationship between food and the human being. Esports is fun. I love that feeling of team and camaraderie that comes with it. And almost, it's like a second family to me, these guys, and I still keep in contact with some of them. I mean, what a great gig that would be. Yeah.
What advice do you have for anyone who is looking to work in esports nutrition?
I think you gotta be personable. Like, from my experience, the esports players that I worked with, there's kind of that tough boundary, because eating is very personal to everyone. And these players in particular, they don't want to tell you what they don't like and what they like. And you kind of have to figure them out until you build a really good rapport with them. So just be personable, be a healthy influence as well. So just don't sit around eating a bunch of crap and expect them to eat healthy. Be active, be fit, and be direct, and be like, guys, you've got to try this, and be encouraging. Getting these guys to try new things was probably one of the biggest challenges, and I felt like I nailed it. In the beginning, I didn't think that was ever going to happen. I thought we were going to be stuck in this thing, but getting a player that doesn't touch your food to come in and actually grab a slice of flatbread off the counter and go, yeah, pizza, like, dude from a totally another country, just, all right, I finally got this guy, I finally got him. So, and just be open to questions when they ask you about health, nutrition, or I'm not feeling well, what should I eat? Like, be open and be ready to help.
How can people get in contact with you?
Social media is probably the best way to go about it. Chef Heidi LA on Twitter, Instagram. I'm on Discord too, in the Fusion. Pretty sure there's a Chef Heidi's Kitchen still in there, so people go in there and post pictures of their food.
Okay, thank you for your time, Heidi.
Absolutely, Russell. It's good speaking with you.